Welcome back to Master 79. In this lesson we take on an ielts writing task 2 question about the growing distance between younger and older people. We will unpack the question together, brainstorm reasons and solutions, and then build a complete band 9 model essay, one paragraph at a time. Here is the task. Today, in many countries, younger people do not interact with older people as often as they used to. What are the reasons for this? How can we improve the situation? Read it twice before you write anything. Every mark you lose in task 2 is usually lost in these first 30 seconds. First, unpack it. This is a two-part question, a problem and a solution. It is not an agree or disagree essay, so do not argue aside. You have two jobs of equal weight. Explain the reasons and propose ways to improve the situation. Notice the scope words. In many countries means keep it global, not one country. As often as they used to means the change over time is the real topic. And be careful, older people is wider than grandparents. A 4-paragraph structure fits this perfectly. Now brainstorm the reasons and split them into structural and cultural. On the structural side, urban migration pulls young adults away, nuclear households replace multi-generational homes, our institutions sort everyone by age, and long working hours leave no spare time. On the cultural and technological side, friendship has moved to platforms older people rarely use. Leisure is marketed by age bracket. A fast-changing economy makes older people's experience look outdated, and care is outsourced to professionals rather than shared by families. Next, the solutions, again in two groups. Institutional ideas bring older residents into schools as reading mentors, put students inside care homes, build nurseries beside retirement homes, and offer volunteering leave or tax relief for family care. Everyday and community ideas fund age-neutral public space such as libraries and allotments, subsidize digital training so older people join the same channels, run local skill swap schemes, and design streets and transport that older people can actually use. Pick the strongest 2 or 3 per side, depth beats a long list. I will build the essay on migration, age segregation and digital habits, then answer each with a matching solution. Here is the plan. The introduction paraphrases the situation and states the line of argument. The cause is separation, not indifference. Body 1 gives the reasons in a chain: family fragmentation, then age-segregated institutions, then separate digital worlds. Body 2 answers each of those with a matching solution: schools, housing design with a real example, then shared public space. The conclusion restates the causal chain and the remedy, and adds nothing new. The introduction. In many countries, the everyday contact that once existed between the young and the old has quietly thinned. This essay argues that the drift stems less from indifference than from migration and from institutions that sort people by age, and that it can be narrowed by rebuilding the settings in which the generations meet. Notice what that does. It paraphrases the prompt instead of copying it. It sets up the whole argument in one clause, and it promises both halves of the task, the reasons and the remedy. Body 1. The reasons. The principal cause is the fragmentation of the extended family. As economies have urbanized, young adults have moved to cities for education and work, leaving parents and grandparents in smaller towns, and the nuclear household has become the norm even for those who stay. Contact that was once incidental, such as a shared meal or a shared courtyard, now demands a deliberate journey. This distance is compounded by the way modern life sorts people into age groups. Schools, workplaces, and retirement facilities each gather a single cohort. Digital habits widen the gap further since friendship among the young unfolds on platforms many older people neither use nor enjoy. Look at the movement there. One topic sentence, then three reasons in a deliberate order, joined by meaning rather than by firstly and secondly. Body 2. The solutions. Improvement therefore depends on rebuilding the settings where contact happens naturally, rather than urging individuals to be more dutiful. Schools offer the quickest route, inviting older residents to act as reading mentors or oral history contributors turns intergenerational exchange into part of the curriculum instead of an act of charity. Housing design matters just as much. A care home in the Dutch city of Deventer, for instance, accommodates university students rent-free in return for 30 hours a month spent with its elderly residents, producing companionship that feels unforced because it is simply neighborly. More broadly, funding libraries, allotments, and community centers that target no single age group would restore the public places in which generations once mixed. Each solution answers a reason from the previous paragraph, and the Deventer example is specific and checkable rather than a vague claim that studies show something. And the conclusion, the generations have drifted apart, then chiefly because migration, age-segregated institutions, and separate digital worlds have removed the occasions for contact. Recreating those occasions through schooling, housing design, and genuinely shared public space is a far more realistic remedy than appealing to goodwill alone. It gathers the causal chain and the remedy into two sentences, takes a clear final position, and introduces nothing new. Here is the whole essay on one slide, so pause the video and read it as an examiner would. 4 paragraphs, both questions answered, and every solution tied back to a reason. Notice how short it is. You do not need 400 words to reach band 9. You need control. Now the language bank. Take these away. For describing the change, contact has thinned, the generations have drifted apart, interaction that was once incidental, the fragmentation of the extended family, age-segregated institutions to gather a single cohort, and this distance is compounded by for proposing solutions to rebuild the settings in which something happens, intergenerational exchange, co-located housing part of the curriculum rather than an act of charity, age-neutral public space, unforced everyday companionship, and a more realistic remedy than appealing to goodwill. So why does this read as band 9? Task response. Both questions are fully answered. Every solution answers a stated reason, and one position runs through the whole essay. Coherence and cohesion. 4 purposeful paragraphs, 1 topic sentence each held together by meaning rather than signposts. Lexical resource precise, unshowy collocation. Grammatical range, comparatives, subordination, and colons handled cleanly. And an important caveat. This band 9 assessment is my own internal quality check against the publicly available ielts band descriptors. It is not a certified examiner score. Your turn. Write body 2 using 2 different solutions from the brainstorm slide, and keep the rule. Every solution must answer a reason you actually gave. Post your version in the comments and I will read them. If this helped, subscribe to bmaster79 and I will see you in the next one.